Hey, yo, what's up, YouTube, man? It's your boy, Ashton Jackson, and in today's video, man, we're going to be talking about the second day of training camp. We're going to be talking about what I saw on my own eyes from what I saw from the clips. We're going to be reading quotes from Nick Harris and what he took from Brian Schottenheimer and the questions that were asked to Brian in today's presser. And then I'm also going to be reading Patrick Nosey Walker's observations, which are very insightful and things of that nature. And also, I want to let you guys know that I'm going to have a 5-minute clip of training camp, like the highlights of it at the end of the video. I don't want to bore you guys and lull you guys to sleep at the beginning of my video. So before we hop into the video, I would appreciate if you guys will like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment, and share my video with anyone who you think will enjoy my content. First thing we're going to get into is the things that were said in Brian Schottenheimer's press conference. Number one, said the defense is communicating at an elite level. From what it looks like, it looks like they are doing that, especially when the Dallas Cowboys offense is doing a lot of shifts and motions, which I really like to see. And you can see some of that on most of the clips that are being shown. But if you guys want to see a clear indication on how we're running some of tempo with the shifts and motions, make sure you guys check out Voch Lombardi. He posted either 3 or 4 clips where they would break the huddle, have a play out, they'll go tempo, run the ball, right? Sometimes they'll come out of the play, line up, it'll be a direct snap, or it'll be a read option from Joe Milton, or there was a play where Dak went under center, they broke the huddle. Hunter Lepke was on the right side of the formation. They shift him over or motion him over to the left side, and then he goes back from the left side, Hunter Lepke to the right side, and they snap the ball, and Dak Prescott threw intermediate level pass to Jake Ferguson. So I believe that the defense is communicating very well, and also the defense has been creating a lot of turnovers in practice. I've been seeing a lot of fumbles, interceptions. I saw an interception saved from Kyrie Elam, having to pick it off in the middle of the field. I've seen some pass breakups. I've been seeing the defense fly around a lot, and I really like that. And then Matt Eberflus says that he wants the Dallas Cowboys to have at least 40 takeaways this year, which we have the talent to do that, especially when you're healthy around November, December. Prayfully you are, and you get all your guys back like Savon Revel, Trayvon Diggs, DeMarvin Overshown, Butler, the corner, things like that. He also said Brian Schottenheimer talked about how he doesn't want the offense to be he doesn't want to be static on offense, doesn't want to be stale. Evident from massive uptick in pre-snap motion through the 2 days of camp. We're seeing, again, a lot of pre-snap motion and shifts in the offense, which I love a lot. Also, he thinks the defense will complete for most takeaways in the NFL. How they ran the ball on day 1 of practice wasn't the standard. And last but not least, he said a pistol package is coming to the offense, and so is a Wildcat package, to be determined on who becomes the Wildcat. For me, I believe the person that is directing the Wildcat and playing the quarterback in the Wildcat, I want that to be a versatile type of player that can either take a direct snap and go right down the middle, beats behind Cooper Beebe, Booker, and Tyler Smith, and just run straight down A-gap and B-gap. I would love a guy that can breed it off and, depending on the leverage of the defense, can keep it or can give it to the guy that's in motion most times. I think the motion guy, I would want that to either be a faster guy. So Deuce, Jaden Blue, that once that guy gets to that edge and they capture that edge, it's a wrap and they're gone. So I think who I want playing like the Wildcat or the person who is playing the Wildcat quarterback, either that be a guy like either Javonte Williams or possibly a guy like Miles Sanders, maybe. But Javonte Williams, I think if he can handle the ball, direct it, things like that, can basically run the quarterback of the Wildcat, I think we'll be fine, in my opinion. So we're going to read Patrick Nosey Walker's tape. Cooper Beebe's anchor is stellar, but now it looks like his punch strength hurts, and Maris Liufau looks as if he knows plays before the offense does. Again, we talked about that yesterday, about how if Maris Liufau can play like that, Fred Warner, Luke Kuechly type of linebacker, where they can diagnose the plays before the offense can do it. And I felt Maris Lufau, you can't be a dummy playing for Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame and running that defense and being the green dot guy over there. You can't be a dummy. And I just felt like Maris Lufau is a highly intelligent player. We saw that last year when the post-draft release video documentary that they did with Mike Zimmer, and they were talking about that was the first thing that popped off for him was how well he was able to get to understand the defense and the language, was able to run it on the whiteboard, and those coaches really appreciate it. So I think we have a very smart linebacker. I know we have a very smart linebacker in Maris Lufau, so he needs to put it all together, and we're going to be fine. The first note from Patrick Nosey Walker was who pissed off Tyler Guyton. The first practice of training camp saw him catch my eye a few times, but his second practice held my attention hostage at several points. His work in the offseason, especially with Tyron Smith, looks like it's paying off. He was stonewalling nearly all comers, including a highly motivated, quick twitch talent like Sam Williams to keep Dak Prescott's blindside detergent clean. Granted, Mike Parsons isn't on the field yet. Correct, he's dealing with some back soreness, which I believe that is that's money related, because I feel like if the money was situated, he'll be right back out here playing. But we're not exactly talking about Jags on a first-team defense that is exceedingly deep at a defensive end. Another day, another round of takeaways for Matt Eberflus's defense. It's not that the Cowboys' offense is sloppy with the ball. It's simply that the defense is relentless in trying to take it away with slaps and punches, and it's working. Donovan Wilson's forced fumble on Wednesday. Another forced fumble was followed up by an interception from Kyer Elam. The latter being a great sign for a Cowboys cornerback core in desperate need of answers, which is true. We have to figure out what we're going to do with this cornerback position. I feel that if Kyer Elam is very consistent throughout camp, even with the pads being on, and he has a good performance week one, I feel like that's going to be your starting outside corner up until Trayvon Diggs and Stephon Revel figures it out, rehabbing and things of that nature. And then Deron Bland wasn't at camp today as well. As far as rookies go, Donovan Ezeraku is one of the best pass rush technicians I've ever seen. So often, first-year edge rushers need to refine this or that and this. But Ezeraku has so many pass rush moves, and each of them looks so smooth, detailed, and effective. And I was left wondering if I was watching AI and not an actual human. Again, I talked about that in my film session that I did on Donovan Ezeraku, how he's damn near my age, and there's a lot of pass rush moves, techniques that you don't have to teach him. He already has it down. He already has it down pat. And he's switching his rush feet and the leverage, the bend, the different type of rush moves he can do. He can do that D-Ware move where he can give you a fake spin move, go back inside or go outside with it. He's so smooth and relentless in the way in which he pass rushes. It's crazy. But he has several pressures on day two, and it makes you wonder what he can be once he actually improves as a season or seasons roll along. It also doesn't hurt that he's now taking pass rush advice from Charles Haley. And Charles Haley is one of the best football players in the NFL history. I believe at one point was the first player in NFL history to have the most rings as a player with 5. But we already know about Charles Haley, how great of a player he was. For those who may not know, he was a damn good player. All decade, Dallas Cowboy, 49er ring Hall of Famer. Just a damn good player. Joe Milton, something I saw today was I really love his accuracy. We're going to talk about what Patrick Nosey Walker had talked about, but Joe Milton has a cannon for an arm. You're going to see that a lot from the training camp clips I have at the end of this video. You're going to see Joe Milton showing off his athleticism and his arm, but I really love that he was a lot more potent and a lot more accurate in the intermediate part of the field, which we need him to be and what we need him to show when he is playing those snaps in preseason. But again, as Patrick Nosey Walker said, that's glaring and that's obvious that he has an arm. But what we need to see from him is touch. I do agree. He can throw the ball from Oxnard damn near to San Diego if he wanted to. He has that type of an arm. You know what I mean? Like, he can throw the ball from Oxnard to the Bay Area if he really needed to. I wanted to see touch. I want to see accuracy. However, especially after spending the last several months or more hoping that Trey Lance could find this, he never did. Milton showed me on a handful of throws that he can very well locate his from tosses to Jonathan Mingo dropped in the perfect spot on a comeback route, or when he floated more perfectly, Beverin spanned forward in the death part of the coverage zone for a first down with change. The deep ball he threw down the seam to Mingo fell just incomplete to delete what would have been the biggest play of the day, but by just a smidge. And I bet Lamb, Pickens, or Turpin can get to that ball. I really do feel that if he was throwing to one of those, I feel like if he was just throwing to Turpin would have caught that, because he would have hit another gear. Once he saw how fast that ball was going, he would have hit another gear and would have caught that. The last point isn't to hit Jonathan Mingo with a demerit, because he broke free of coverage, got downfield, and went full on horizontal to try and get the ball. That goes to the effort he's been putting on tape over the first 2 days of practice. So while Jalen Tolbert isn't backing down whatsoever, Mingo is beginning to apply pressure for the right to be wide receiver 3 behind Lamb and Pickens. Mingo is taking full advantage of the targets and he's receiving, including a high-pointed catch over the defender to retain the ball as both went to the ground. If he keeps this up, the Cowboys are going to have an excellent problem on their hands come September. I mentioned this in the Gavante Turpin article I pinned on DallasCowboys.com, but the All-Pros are getting a lot, and I do mean a lot, of work as running back to this point. He's getting nearly as many chances on handoff as the other running backs on the roster, and his explosiveness could make things challenging for Deuce Vaughn's mission. That is if Vaughn wasn't delivering the occasional ooh-ah moment as well. On 2 occasions, I heard fans telling each other they couldn't see him until Vaughn was already at the third level of the defense. The Turpin versus Vaughn battle wasn't a thing coming into camp, and call me crazy, but I believe it's not one now, and throw Jaden Blue into that as well, considering his skill set. And then we have one more. Sorry, it's taking forever. On day 1 of practice with Javonte Williams catching my attention with the quickness of his cuts in open space. But on day 2, Miles Sanders demanded my retinal focus. The veteran back looked decisive, quick, fast, and every bit the player that gave the Cowboys a headache in time or two, as remember of the guys in green. He also didn't look afraid at all to take handoffs up the middle. And though that fearlessness won't change when pads get involved next week, I'm tuning to see if his shiftiness, and willingness to go north and south gets stunted, or if he puts some defenders on notice. Nothing will be sorted out at any time soon at nickel corner, but Izzy Izrumukwamu is making a case for himself strong enough to pass the Supreme Court appeals process. Does that mean he'll win the job outright? I have no clue, but I can tell you it's the second day. I've watched him take plenty of reps against smaller, shiftier slot receivers and use his length to frustrate them. And for his size, his footwork within the first 5 yards of the line of scrimmage is abnormally good. And let's be honest, that first 5 yards is where nickel corners make their living anyway. Also, I'll never forget the hell he gave Brady on that fateful winter night in Tampa. Again, so far what I'm taking away, what I'm gathering from practice, is I'm really loving the tempo in which the guys are moving at camp. I love the energy that they're having from beginning of warm-ups to the end of the practice, from what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing from Dallas Cowboys legends like Nate Newton and things of that nature. I really love what I'm seeing from the quarterbacks, mainly from Dak and Joe Milton. I've not been seeing a whole lot of clips from Will Grier. That's mainly the main 2 headlines when we're talking about that quarterback room. A lot of people are going to be talking about Milton, and they're going to be talking about Dak Prescott. I really love how potent that Ceedee, Lamb, Pickens were today. They had a hell of a play today where basically they threw a screen pass to Ceedee, broke free, broke a bunch of tackles, scored, celebrated in the end zone with George Pickens. I'm super excited to see what that pair and what a healthy Dak Prescott does with those 2. And also, we cannot forget about Jake Ferguson. I talked about him. That was a player I talked about that when he figures this out, he had it figured out in 2023. It just was piss poor about what happened in 2024 with the injuries and the scheme and everything that happened last year. But I think Jake Ferguson is a guy that you're have to make a major financial decision on whether you want to keep him or not. And if you lose him, that's going to be tough. But I really like what Beverin Spanford has been showing. But I want to keep Jake Ferguson. If Jake Ferguson lives up to that potential of him being possibly a 900 or 1,100 type of tight end year, if he has 1,100 yard type year because Pickens and Lamb are garnering so much attention, it's going to leave the middle of the field wide open and dead spots in the zone where you can just dump it off to Jake Ferguson. He can go make do, right? So I'm really loving what I'm seeing from the offense. I'm really loving what I'm seeing from the backfield in terms of it's a true running back by committee. We're seeing Devontae Turpin, Javonte Williams, Jaden Blue, Phil Maffa, Miles Sanders, if I didn't say his name already. We're dealing with so many different running backs. We have at least 4 running backs off the top of my head, 5 running backs that can make a case for themselves. Deuce Vaughn was another running back. 5 or 6 running backs, somebody has to come out and be the guy. And I believe that's going to be a very tough choice for the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm still curious as to how many running backs they are going to want to keep on the roster. Like legit running backs, not including Hunter Lepke. For me, I would think they would want to keep 2 because I think they're going to go long at offensive line and cornerback. I feel like they're going to go at least 6 or 7 deep at that position at least. But we're going to find out. What's another thing I love what the defense is doing. I love that they're taking the ball away in camp. I love getting back to that, taking the ball away. Not saying that has been a problem last year because we were so injury riddled. It would have been great to have turnovers last year, but we were dealing with so many injuries and so much scrutiny, and not even forget scrutiny, just so much dysfunction as a team that we were so piss poor with the way that team was built last year. It's not even worth talking about. But anyway, I love what the defense has been doing with taking the ball away. I think the biggest question that I have for the defense is who are your first 2 linebackers going to be in the nickel package? My prediction would be Maris Luafau and whoever steps up. So either him or Kenneth Murray. Talking about him saying Maris Luafau or Maris Luafau and somebody else. Because I believe that, yes, Jack Sanborn can be the whisperer, but I think Sanborn can be the whisperer as the second team the second team linebacker as opposed to, because I feel like Maris Luafau is the best linebacker that we have right now, not named DeMarvin Overshown in that room as of right now. And then you're going to have, we're going to have to figure out as a fan base and as people, as content creators as well, what are we going to be able to do to stop the run? I just think that the way that they're preaching takeaways and us getting upfield, us wanting to penetrate and get upfield, it seems like we're going to be back to that Dan Quinn type style of defense where we're trying to get upfield, we're trying to get to the quarterback, disrupt plays, crush the pocket on the quarterback and trying to make your life hell in the secondary. I think that's what we're going to try and do. It would be great to execute that again. It's fine, that type of style of team that we were from 2021 to 2023 wasn't bad. But like those 36 wins that we got from September to the first week of January is beautiful. When you're watching those highlights, that's fun to watch. Often we talk, those are some of our guys from like my age in their early 20s. Like that was the first time we ever seen consistency in making the playoffs 3 straight years as Dallas Cowboy fans for guys that are my age. So those are fun to watch. Those regular season games are fun to watch. But it was the postseason that got very hard for us, where teams that can slow down the tempo and teams that wanted to slow down the game for us, it became a lot tougher for us. And you saw a shift in the attitude and change in the way in which we played because we were playing so fast from weeks 1 through 17. That was very tough for us as a team that once we got to the second week of January, we're playing playoff football. It's very tough for us to catch up to that, and play that different style of ball. But again, I think if we're scoring points and we're letting Micah, Ezeraku, Fowler, Osa, those guys getting upfield, you can get into the quarterbacks. I believe that we're gonna have the number 1 team that can either take the ball away or be the number 1 team in leading in sacks. I truly feel that because you saw what Vod said. In 2022, we were second in the league led sacks, only behind Pittsburgh, but we were the second league leading sacks with Micah, D-Law, who doesn't get sacks, Dorrance, who got cleanup sacks, Chauncey Golston, Osa, Dante. But now you get Micah, Dante, Ezeraku, Sam Williams, Osa, and then whoever else you want to go get sacks, you want to throw into that mix, so be it. You know what I mean? So I believe we're going to have one hell of a DN room. Once fully healthy at cornerback, we'll have, again, back to that 2023 discussion in terms of we're going to have one of the best cornerback rooms once we're healthy. But right now, it does not look like that. I would love to add a guy like Stephon Gilmore again. I'm still preaching to add a corner. I want to get I want to get a definite starter running back in here. I want to figure out this nose tackle position, but I just think they're complacent right now when it comes to that position. Talking about the Dallas Cowboys. Um, I want to know what the safety battle room is going to look like. I like Hooker. Context. I like Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson as well. But I just feel that if we can get better at strong safety with Donovan, because if it's the same song and dance, we're deploying Donovan Wilson as our blitzing safety in the run game. That's fine. But I don't want to play Philly. I don't want to play any of these guys, and they're saying, hey, number 6, you're gonna have to cover today, and you have to do that for 30 plus snaps, and you have to keep up with some of the best tight ends in the league. I don't want him doing that. I'd rather have a guy that can cover and at least slow down a Kittle, a Goddard, a Sam Laporta, a Hawkinson. I'd rather have a safety that can slow those guys down and doesn't look completely embarrassing in coverage, than having a guy that can do really well in the run game, can knock you out if he has the right anger. If you piss him off enough and he has the right angle on you, that's great. But when it's time for us to go play drop back in coverage, you're a liability, and I'm tired of that. So can Wanye step up? Can Marquise Bell step up? Can Elijah Clark, uh, highest prioritized free agent out of Syracuse, step up and make some plays? We're going to find out. Again, it's only the second day of practice. So that's about it for the video. Hope you guys have a nice day. Stay safe, stay blessed. Bye.